Hi guys, it's Mary. Welcome back. I feel like a talk show host here with my cup, and I have nowhere to set it at the moment with my cup and our first guest. Well, I saw my friend Mel Thompson do a video that I wanted to do. And I think this is the way she did it. I hope so. And if not, I'm sorry. She took and she showed her favorite palette from every brand that she had. I'm talking about eyeshadow palettes. And I thought, wow, that would be kind of fun. Mel is a collector of makeup, so she has a lot more than me. But I do think I've pulled out quite a lot here to share with you. Not nearly as big as it would have been, except I'm constantly decluttering. I do that because I get anxious when I own too much makeup. With the collection that I currently have, I'm going to show you my favorite palette from that brand. And since we have a few, we should just get going. ABH. I have cut, finally, a few of the ABH palettes that I've owned. The one I probably never will is this one. And oh, I am so happy to now have a camera that shows off the beauty of that. Look at that. The packaging alone would make you buy this palette, wouldn't it? The Sultry palette is my favorite ABH palette. I need to put this out and start using it again. You would never guess by looking at this that it is my favorite, but it is, and it's only because I'm a YouTuber who's constantly picking up new, on to the next, that this doesn't get used more than it does. Comes with a dual-ended brush that I never use. Unlike the Sigma palettes, I don't like the way this applies my makeup. The shades that have the most use are Twig, this Slate, and Noor. So I tend to use those shades more than anything else, but I do absolutely love my Sultry palette from ABH. Okay, this brand only has one palette. This palette was sent to me by True Beauty. This is Lisa J's brand. This will yield a very subtle, fast, neutral eye. I like using this when I just want to use one shade, just like maybe I want to use that shade today or this shade today. I don't get overly complex with this. I just, a couple shadows and away I go. So that's my favorite BK Beauty palette. It's the only BK Beauty palette, but it's my favorite one. My very most favorite Charlotte Tilbury palette is Exaggerize. I have really come to appreciate the subtle beauty of Charlotte Tilbury. Charlotte is right up there with Lancome for me now, and I just absolutely love this palette. This is my favorite quad that I have for her, and you should try it. You like it. I used to have a bunch of Colourpop, and then I have given them away to various people. I just can't let go of this one, though. This one is the Going Coconuts palette, and look at it, and you can see why. It performs like a high-end palette. You can just pop this in your purse and go. It's got a really nice mirror. This palette isn't just my favorite. Many, many people love the Going Coconuts palette, and there's a good reason for it. You will go nuts for it. e.l.f. Yeah, okay. If you didn't know that I was going to pick the Hot Jalapeno palette from e.l.f., then you don't know me very well. I do have to say that new mint chocolate one has my heart too, but I don't think anything's ever going to knock Hot Jalapeno off for me. It's one of my favorite green palettes. This one is my favorite by Juvia's Place. It's the Wahala. It really isn't that old, and I don't know. Maybe part of the reason I love it so much is because I waited for it for so long, but this green up here is stellar. And I have learned not to use these glitters because while they are stunning, me and glitter don't get along. At 58, I'm starting to get to the point where I think I've pretty much said, we're not doing the glitter anymore, not unless it's a very, very special occasion. It's not worth getting into my under eye, but yeah, look at this. Is that not gorgeous? I let go of all makeup that I owned from Kat Von D, except for one thing. So I still have one palette, and obviously that's because it's my favorite one, and I can't let go of it. I love it. I love the look that this palette creates. I have to tell you, I reach for this when I want to do a purple eye more than some of my higher-end ones. And that is this little bitty shade and light eye, and it's the one called Plum. This is such a really good one. I love this thing so much. And it's so little and compact. More than the Shade and Light. More than the one What was it called? The big one. I loved that palette. The big one, me and my daughter. I bought us both one at the same time. And you would flip it and it said, I forget, it's been so long ago. But I loved that. I thought the artwork on it was just stellar. It was really hard for me to part with that. 'Cause in that palette, what I used the most were the purples. And these are purples. Compact. Fits in my collection pretty easy. My favorite Lancome palette is Smoky Chick. So beautiful. And you might be scared of this palette because it seems to be really smoky. But the black is a total buildable black. So I don't think that you can get really overdone in this palette unless you're trying really hard. So don't let that scare you. These applicators that come with them, I have to say these actually do a fantastic job putting on your eyeshadow. Tom Ford and Lancome are two brands that I will actually use the little applicators that come with their shadows to apply them. I used to collect Lorac like nobody's business. It really did used to be. Between them and ABH, I had to have everything that came out from them. I finally decided to cut the majority of my eyeshadow palettes. I still have my cheek ones, but this one here I can't get rid of. It is my favorite. It is the Unzipped. And this was given to me by one of my BFFs. She knew how bad I wanted it. Lorac's formula stays. I mean, this is just wonderful, just like the day that I opened it up. I've had this palette forever and a day, and they're still just like I just opened them. This is my favorite Lorac palette of all time. I won't lie to you and act like the packaging of this MAC shadow is not the real reason I bought the Selena palette. And you can't get your hands on it anymore, or at least I don't think you can. But this is my favorite MAC palette. It's actually my only MAC palette. All of my MAC shadows are singles. I never bought a palette from MAC because I heard some terrible things about their palettes and their holiday brushes. So I never really bought a palette before, but I love every shade in here. It just makes me happy to look at Selena's bustier on this packaging. You can see that, right? That it is her bustier. See? And that's what this is. Makeup Revolution. I guess you can probably tell that I've used this a few times. In case you've forgotten, this is the Emily Edits palette, and I think that she did a fabulous job picking out shades that, I mean, you could set this on your vanity. If this was your only palette, you probably got everything that you would wear in it. And it comes with its own little portable vanity. This mirror is so huge, you could literally do your whole makeup in it. Just set it down on your desk and go to town, if you can see. This is my favorite palette that I've ever owned from Makeup Revolution. Natasha Denona, Metropolis. Bet you guys knew about that because I made a big to-do about the fact that I actually made payments on this palette. I wanted it that bad. You can probably see why. The greens in it are stellar. The blues in it are stellar. I need to do a blue eye with this. I don't think I've done a blue eye with this one. It's stunning. Some people who are connoisseurs of Natasha Denona, I only have 3 of her palettes, but some people have them all, and they don't like this one as much because the formula was different. It's a cream to powder formula, but I happen to love it. This is my one and only OFRA palette. Do I need another one? I don't really think I do. It's called the Soul palette. I mean, everything you could want is in this, isn't it? I want to use that right now. No, there's a limit to how much makeup you should put on your face in a day. Well, I've actually acquired 7 Pat McGrath palettes now. Oh my goodness, but my favorite one is the very first one that I ever got, and I didn't buy it. It was sent to me by my friend Jeannie, and look at that. Can you see why? Of course you can. These mattes are some of the most beautiful mattes of all of her mattes, I think. I just love these mattes so much. So this one here is my favorite and most used palette from Pat McGrath. It's got just really stunning look. If I want something, I should put that on my eyelids right now. If I want something that's pinky, I can go there, gold, green, just an everyday. Look at this one. It's a really beautiful topper that has pink shades. I don't know if you can see that or not. It has all these pink iridescent kind of colors. I really don't want to waste this one. I think I will pop it right on my eyelids. Excusez-moi. You can't just waste that shadow. Just can't waste that. Anyway, that is my favorite Pat McGrath palette. My favorite palette from Pure is the Pure Barbie, sent to me by Carla of the Fritzy family, along with this whole line, this whole collection. She sent this to me. And I love this. This is another palette that I could choose if I were going to do that blue eye. It's been requested that I do a blue eye recently, and I sent that person to my So Jaded video to see, because I remembered off the top of my head I did a blue eye. And another one of these palettes that I just can't let go of. Look at it. I mean, even if I was never going to use this again, I would display that. You guys, Sigma is so hard for me. It really, really is. I'm going to have to do two, and you guys got to let me do it, because one, while it is an eyeshadow palette, I use it every single day on my face. This is the Stephanie Lange The Essentials palette. Like I said, it is an eyeshadow palette, but these three shades over here, whether you knew it or not, are not really for your eyes. You can use them on your eyes if you want to. You can use makeup any old how you choose. But this is actually a highlighter. This is a contour for lighter skinned girls, and this is one for darker skinned girls. And this gets used every single day when I do my makeup. I contour my nose with this. It doesn't leave the vanity. It sits there, sometimes open. You know, after I've done my makeup, it just sits there on the vanity like this open, because I use it every day. All right, so for me to not say that this is my favorite would be a lie. However, it's not my favorite eyeshadow palette from Sigma. That would be the Untamed. The Untamed palette. Oops, the brush fell out. Oops, I kept that too, because you know I normally throw those plastic things away, but let me get it and you'll see why. I love it. It's a good, sturdy quality one, and I just appreciate the design. Okay, so here it is. Look at this. You see what's right in the middle? Envy and Camouflage. Oh, I love to take Envy, Camouflage, and Wicked, and wow. The palette comes with two of their brushes, and also the 2-year warranty. Okay. Sydney Grace. I bet you guys already knew this, and it's not because it's by my friend Mel and Sydney Grace. No, that's not why. This palette has everything I need. My most frequent eye is in this palette. In my opinion, they nailed this thing for a pop of color, you know, something kind of fancy that makes people go, what's on your eyes? Everyday colors, just absolutely beautiful, stunning. I have all of the Sydney Grace palettes, and this one is my favorite of them all. Believe it or not, I do still have theBalm in my collection. Now, I would be lying if I didn't tell you that the whole reason I bought this was because this packaging. I mean, theBalm is best known, I think, for their packaging. Meet Matrimony. Meet Matte Trimony. All the shades are matte. Marriage Material. And this is my favorite, theBalm palette. It's an everyday. You could put this on your vanity and use it every single day, and I know it would last you a long time. It's just a really great matte palette, so I'm sure you can probably still get it. It was probably one of their biggest sellers. My favorite Tom Ford palette is this one here. It stays out on my vanity because I use it a lot. It never really works out that I'm using Tom Ford on camera, does it? This was a gift to me from my friend Michelle. She used to have a channel here called Cinnamon Girl Beauty. She is one of my BFFs, and she sent me, actually all the Tom Ford that I have was sent to me from Michelle. This one here is called Nude Dip, and it's an everyday kind of palette for me. If I'm not going to use my Tiny Marvels palette for that look that I like to do, it's this one. And I do use those little tools that are in here. I do use these. If you look at them close enough, you can see that I use them. I should wash them. Too Faced. Okay, now I never really did get into the first chocolate palette. I had 2 of them. I got it. I was like, it's all right. You know, it smells like chocolate. You know, it's nice. But, you know, it always seemed like my eyes itched when I used it. Maybe it had too much chocolate in it. But anyway, I got rid of it. Then I thought, what have I done? I should have kept that. And I went and got it again. And it ultimately got decluttered at some point too. But this one here is a different story. It's the chocolate gold. I love this packaging. I think that this does smell like chocolate, but it's not as intense as the chocolate palette. But can you see? Come on, you guys know. This is why I like it, because of all the shimmers that are in this. I usually complement other palettes with this one. It's not beyond me to do an eye that comes from several palettes. And some people will be like, what's on your eyes? Well, it's the color of this from this palette, and then this palette, and this palette. I do that. I mean, you just saw me top off what I already had here with Pat McGrath. But before that, it was a little bit of Becca, a little bit of Lancome, a little bit. I can't tell you what's on my eyes because I'm just like, oh, that looks interesting. And I get those shades. So this palette here is good for that. I will use this in conjunction with other palettes. Okay. Urban Decay. Am I going to show you the Born to Run? No. Am I going to show you the little Born to Run palettes that I love so much? No, I'm not. I'm going to be mean, and I'm going to show you something that you cannot get. I don't even really use this, but this video is not about my most used palettes. It's my favorite palettes from a brand, and that's the Alice Through the Looking Glass. This baby was sent to me by my friend Cindy. And I don't even think Cindy makes videos anymore. I haven't seen her in the longest time. But I did a video where I was talking about things I regret not getting or something. And this was one of them. Even if you don't know me for makeup, if you know me, you know that I have this love for Alice in Wonderland. I couldn't afford it at the time. She bought it, had never used it, and sent it to me. I can hold that really still. Maybe you can see what that says. When you open up the palette, it says this on the inside of it. And then these doors open, see, and you have this 3D butterfly that's in there. And see, the drawer is starting to open now, and it has a brush. This is so special to me. It is my favorite Urban Decay palette, even if I don't use it. I keep it in its original box. I will not get rid of this. It means too much to me. I've had a few Violet Voss over the years, and I can't cut this one. Even though it doesn't get used that much, just looking at it makes me happy. On this end, particularly, oh my goodness, I just love this. They're so soft. Look! Oh, I have no words. No words. Finger painting, anyone? This is just stellar, gorgeous. In my last declutter, I actually did declutter the palette, and then when the camera stopped rolling, I went right back and got it because I can't. I said, I need this because of all these pops of color that I don't have in anything else. So this is my favorite Violet Voss palette, Viseart. This took some thinking, but I finally decided that it was the Tryst. The Tryst is my favorite from Viseart, and it's because I can't quit using these shades. I love these 4 right here in the corner so much. Most of the time, if I'm going to do a peachy eye, it's, ooh, I wonder what this would be like with the Tiny Marvels. I must do that. But seriously, this one here is my favorite Viseart palette, and I have to be very careful with it because one day, can you hear this? One day I decided that I would depot all of my Viseart, and then I would use them more. I didn't, and I put them back. Don't depot these little square ones here. Don't do that. They're not magnetized, and you'll have to be forever careful when you open it from there on out. Wayne Goss. Okay, I know he only has 2, but this is the one that I kept. I did order the other one, and I sent it back. I know I felt really bad about doing that, but I just didn't love it. I didn't love it. And I'm like, this one here doesn't get used that much. Not that it's not a good palette. It's a good palette. It's just that I love his blushes to the moon and back. I'm just not that gaga about the eyeshadow palettes, but if I'm going to pick between the two, it's going to be this one, Imperial Topaz. And that wraps it up. My favorite eyeshadow palettes from all the brands that I currently have in my possession. I hope that you guys enjoyed that. Please tell me below, what are your top drawer? What are the ones that you really love from the brands that you have? And I'd be interested to know what those are. If you guys don't know it, I want you to know that you're the best part of the Fritzy family. And if you're not having a blessed day, just go out and be a blessing to somebody else. And until next time, love you, see ya, bye. And I'm out.
What could you have possibly drank that gave you burps? Okay, let's be honest. I'm full of hot air all the time. Somebody's at the front door. Somebody's at the front door. Somebody's at the front door. Door. Do we door? Do we just wait here and see if it's a package? Are they gonna knock? Is it my husband? Let's go see. It was from Ulta. Now I have to use a hand sanitizer because I touched the mail. Subtle. Look. Hello. This is so good, I want to lick and eat it. That one right there. I just want to lick that say right there and just taste it. See what it tastes like. No, I'm not going to do that. Not on camera, anyway. No, I really won't do that. That water tastes good after you've been sitting here running your mouth for frickin' 2 hours. Doesn't water taste good? It's got a really nice mirror that I can totally see myself in. And that might be because I have on my glasses. e.l.f. e.l.f. Those are supposed to be pointy ears. Looks more like horns, don't it? Ooh, it's shiny. So shiny. Shiny. This here, meet matrimony. Get it? Matrimony. That guy, I'm gonna marry him. Hello there, baby. This is every girl's dream. It's what every girl wants. Or in my book, anyway. What a girl wants, what a girl needs. That's what this palette represents to me. Doesn't it to you? Doesn't it to them? Doesn't it to everyone in the world? Yes. Love this palette so much. Focus on me, you dummy. Not you, the camera. Look, you stupid! Focus on that! I'm not going to tell you how many times do we have to go through this. I need you to focus on stuff when I tell you to. Oh, please. Please focus on this. I'll give you a mint. But please, no, don't mistake. Okay, now you can talk.